2.
Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Welcome, welcome. Welcome everybody. Hey everyone. Welcome to our AAM. Welcome to our AAM YouTube channel. So glad. Hopefully, if you are here with us, say hello in the chat. If you'd like to say where you are and what brings you to join us tonight. We are very excited to be hosting another live stream. Exciting to tell you about an amazing event that is coming up really soon in a town near you. All right, so I'm gonna again welcome everybody. Say hello in the chat. I'm gonna get started with our program. So welcome, Animal Allies. Today I am talking with the amazing organizers of the Ohio Occurrence, who will tell us about this 4-day event and answer all of your questions. But first, my name is Michelle Granberg. I'm a mentor and team member for those who are new to animal activism mentorship. AAM is a multinational program designed to fully support and empower activists to reach their potential and equip them with the tools, community, and resources they need to boldly participate in our global animal liberation movement. Founded in 2020, AAM offers a free 3-month mentorship program which pairs experienced activists with aspiring activists. You can apply today to become a mentor or a mentee through our website, animalactivismmentorship.com. Additionally, we offer free educational online programs like this one. We have a podcast called the Animal Liberation Hour, which you can find anywhere you find podcasts. And we host large-scale in-person activism events around the country, like our Ohio Occurrence upcoming on August 1st through 4th in and around Columbus. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that and announcing future events as well. All right, so that is our introduction. So cool. Now I get to throw it over to Matt. We have Matt and Amanda with us, our organizers. Matt, would you start? Please tell us a little bit about what brings you to this, a little of your story.
Sure. Yeah. Hello, Michelle. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'll just start out by saying that this is the third occurrence that has happened in Ohio. And Amanda will get into great detail about that whole story in a second. But from my story, 2 years ago was the Cleveland occurrence. And at that time, I was a pretty novice animal advocate. I was vegan at that point, but that was about it, really. And I was definitely looking to expand my activism. So the Cleveland occurrence, I didn't actually hear about it until about a week before. And I went, and it was transformative. I mean, at that point in time, I didn't have too many friends that were vegan or animal activists. And it gave me a lot of what I needed just in my personal life all at the same time. So I got friends, I got a community, I got to be in the presence of other far more experienced activists and kind of see how they behave and how they manage the stress of some of these events. So I really feel like just in that event alone, I leveled up quite a lot. From there, I became a mentee. I actually decided, okay, now that I've done one of these events, let me try out the mentorship program. And that was also transformative. So over that year, or those few couple months, that really got me focused and gave me kind of a vision of what I wanted my own actions to look like in the future. From there, we had the second occurrence in Cincinnati. And after that, I decided I wanted to be a mentor. So it just kind of kept building on itself. And now Amanda has even convinced me to help organize a whole nother one here in Columbus. So very happy to be part of it. I'm really excited for this one. I think this one's going to be, I mean, it's a whole extra day than the other ones. I think this one's going to be very encompassing, and it's just going to be a very wide variety of really positive actions that will hopefully reach other people in the same way that the previous occurrences have reached me. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm really happy for the immediate future next week and the long distance future after that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matt, for sharing your story. Very inspiring indeed. So Amanda, hey, tell us a bit about your story and the history of the Ohio Occurrence and
This is
what the
Piper,
impetus
by the
was
way.
for that.
She wants to be
Hi,
on screen too.
who's
This is
that?
Piper. This is
Hi,
Piper.
Piper.
She's my girl. She's my daughter. She
She's
likes to be
gorgeous.
on TV too. So yes, hi, my name is Amanda. I also go by Gym City Vegan. Um, I actually was tearing up listening to Matt's story because when I founded Ohio Occurrence and what my envisionment was in my state, trying to get people active for the animals, this is exactly what it was, to help people experience different things that they can then go and do. So I was attending the Atlanta Assembly in February of 22. It was transformative for me, like many AAM events have been. I think my first tour was the first one in Chicago. I did my first disruption. That changed like how I was like, okay, I wouldn't have had this experience if I wouldn't have gone to this event. Well, I guess I'm jumping ahead too. Like myself getting into activism, I actually was plant-based first, and then I became an ethical vegan at a dairy farm. So dairy also holds like transformative in my activism. I'm excited for some future things too. Um, and getting active for the animals, I did a lot of solo activism. Like we had kind of ebbs and flows in the cities surrounding where I live. And it was kind of hard, especially like being a solo person. But I know solo activism is still impactful. So I'd be out there with a sign, doing my thing. And so when I envisioned Ohio Occurrence, I was like, well, these AAM tours are so transformative for me, but I kind of wanted it to be a little more unique in the way that um, all of our events have multiple different types of events. So it's not just fur, or it's not just, you're going to get a good touch of different things and different types of actions. Last year, we did a letter writing campaign, which was something that was new to us. We've done fair events. I'll go into some of the details specifically, but it's like things that kind of help evolve, but it shows people these are the type of things you can do. And if it's an action that's calling to them and they feel comfortable being able to take that back. I think last year we had an attendee who listened to one of my talks about solo activism, and she got inspired to go back and do solo activism. We've had people who come to these things and did all of their first. We have one of our current organizers who did her first speak out in Cleveland. Like it was her first speak out ever. Mentioning the organizers, we have 5 organizers currently this year, 4 of which have gone through the Mentee program, 3 of which are current mentors. We work with different organizations so that people who come to these events can see who we work with, which we'll talk about. They can, we'll give them supplies. Like I still have the tombstones we used last year at horse racing for all of the lives that were lost just last year at Belterra Park, hoping that someone in that area would organize horse racing and I would just pass this, I'm willing to pass materials off to people as like starting supplies and then get them networked with these organizations that I work with that can help escalate their, help them with their organizing of a, in a sense. But I also kind of unofficially mentor people too, not only officially through AAM, but when people have questions, I'm not going to say, oh, well, you have to sign up to be my mentee. And one of our organizers, actually, his wife was on our organizing committee for Cincinnati, and they kind of swapped. And he's on the committee this year, both of which were my mentees, and he has now become a mentor too. So they actually waited 3 months to work with me. And because I had multiple mentees, so like I actually technically had a waiting list, but they were local and they wanted to work with someone local, so they were willing to do that. And now just seeing their impact and what they're doing, it's phenomenal. He's also gone and we've all there's like 5 of us who started Southwestern Ohio Animal Rights Network as well, where we kind of focus all of our local organizing in our area, in the Cincinnati area, Dayton and Cincinnati, and just kind of have it on a focused, so it's like a one-stop shop for all of our activism. So it's not this person's doing this and this person's doing that. We kind of share everybody's stuff as well. But I'm digressing a little. So Ohio Occurrence, because that's what we're here to talk about. So in 2022, Ohio Occurrence started. It blew into this amazing vision that came to fruition because of amazing activists. It was a lot of work the first year because it was my first year of doing it. So I was just doing my best to not mess anything up. But we had probably 25 to 30 activists ebb and flow, because usually you don't have activists for the whole time usually. The first and second year were 3 days. My bandwidth is about that. So because I have 5 people on my team this year, I told them, as long as you can help me with the bandwidth of getting the stuff an extended day, we can do it. So in 2022, we started in Cleveland. We had 18 actions and workshops. This included a vigil with Cleveland Animal Save. We did some stuff at the fair, the zoo, the aquarium. We did a banner drop. We did beach cleanup with Sea Shepherd, Cleveland Sea Shepherd. We did a food giveaway. We did a Cube of Truth with AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless. We had a bunny rescue, actually, that was like a bonus. That was on our last night. And Matt was actually pretty intricate in finding them a home as well, getting them sponsored out.
Yeah, that was my first rescue.
It was.
Young Cleveland the bunny.
Cleveland the bunny, that's right.
You named the bunny after Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name,
I
and then afterwards he lived for I think about 1.5 years, 2 years with one of the activists that attended. And he's now switched homes again, but he's in great shape. He's living with a good family. So,
and he's in a bunny room. Like the people who
he has his own room.
Who took him lost a bunny, and so they already had a bunny room. So he literally just like had a house, like a whole room all to himself. It's amazing.
Nice. Anyways,
we did a meat market disruption. We did some fur, asking LVMH to do a fur-free policy. We did worldwide vegan chalk night. We also did a petition to try to end caporos. There was a town up by Cleveland who was allowing the slaughter of chickens during caporos in city limits. So we were trying to stop that. Unfortunately, the mayor still signed approval for it to happen with all of our, hard work. But, we did what we could to try, because that's what we do, right? Is like, we're at least out there speaking up for the animals. We also did some workshops on helping people, like speaking, different kinds of like investigations that you can do, Canva workshop to kind of help with graphics with your things. So like that was kind of the start. We did plan a march, but it got rained out. That was kind of sad because we were going to march from one event to the other with signs, but we still got a lot of stuff in. I mean, it was an amazing first year. Worked with a lot of great organizations. Then from that, one of the attendees was like, I want to take this to my city. And I was like, as long as you help me organize it, we can do it. And so she actually became an organizer on the planning committee, and we started organizing Cincinnati. And in Cincinnati, we did over 3 days, 19 actions, 3 workshops, 3 talks, and 2 food giveaways. Some of our events included horse racing protests with horse racing wrongs. We did a city hall slash, or wait, no, actually the city hall mayor thing, that was Cleveland. Sorry, I had that in the wrong thing. We did something new last year. We had done 2 hatcheries. One was a chicken hatchery, one was a fish hatchery. We did some fur again against LVMH, asking them to do a fur-free policy. A zoo, aquarium, those tend to be pretty consistent. Animal testing, again, we did another Cube of Truth with AV. Our food giveaways were pretty phenomenal. One was with Plant-Based Treaty. We worked with them and did a food giveaway with them. We also went and visited, oh, I totally forgot. In Cleveland, we also did a sanctuary visit at my friend's Stacy Stahl, who owns Stahl's No Harm Farm. So she has a wonderful little vegan sanctuary up in the I can't remember what city she moved to, but it's kind of up in the Akron's kind of area by Cleveland. And then last year we worked with our friends at Foreverland Farm, who now just moved to Mount Orb. They bought a bigger farm, but we did some sanctuary day there. So last year we also did have 2 food sponsors, which was new from the first year. We had Harmony Plant Fair, who provided some lunches for us, as well as Roland Bowls. Really excellent. They both did really phenomenal jobs, because we usually have people who have sensitivities to or allergies to like gluten and onion and things like that. And they did a really phenomenal job on, kind of keeping those things, or at least like some, what would you say? Like, the tweaks where it's like individual, but that person has what they need, where it's like they make everything in a big thing, but then they separate out and they make something specific to those with sensitivities. So we had really a great, phenomenal first couple of years. It seems like every year gets a little more successful and a little more epic. And when Matt was talking about the excitement for this year, I was saying epic. I don't know if you could see me because it was probably spotlighted, but I was like, epic, because every year is a little more epic than the last. I don't know how we keep raising the bar, but somehow we tend to do that. So now that's a little bit of the history. So now we can go into talking about what's coming up next week. So Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about what we did leading up to the Ohio Occurrence, like some of the stuff that we've done? We've been working very heavily with Plant-Based Treaty with some of the endorsements.
Yeah, certainly. So we've approached predominantly vegan restaurants here in Columbus just to see if they would endorse the Plant-Based Treaty. And just in the past few months, I think we've had 3, maybe 4. So 3, yeah. So that's been great. When we got that word out to the greater vegan Columbus community, it was very well received. A lot of local, I guess I'll call them maybe passive or foodie vegans, were very like kind of surprised by that and really encouraged to see that the restaurants that they patronize are actually kind of putting their money where their mouth is and supporting not just, providing vegan food, but also supporting a greater movement that's adjacent to just vegan food. So that's been really well received so far. And I think we're going to have a lot of momentum with the Plant-Based Treaty going through this occurrence. And I'm hoping that we get a few more restaurants here to sign it. We're also working on the city itself. So we'd really like to actually have the city of Columbus or the councilman of Columbus sign the Plant-Based Treaty. That's been one of our major initiatives. And then, of course, like other years, there's certain businesses that sell problematic items that we have also started a bit of a campaign with. And this occurrence will be part of that. And yeah, I don't know. It seemed like you may have had something else in mind as well, Amanda. I'm kind of drawing a blank as to other. It's just been a lot of work.
That was
We've been
it.
working every week, so.
Well, I mean, and Ohio Occurrence, one of the things that we look at when we do these as well is the local organization. So this year, Piper saying hi. This year, we're collaborating with CAA,
Oh,
which is
yes,
Columbus Animal Advocates,
of
which
course.
of course is an organization Matt founded. Did you want to
Right.
talk a little bit about them real quick?
Yeah.
How you guys
Columbus,
started?
Columbus Animal Advocates. So myself, another AAM mentee, and another local animal activist. We founded Columbus Animal Advocates. So this is just a small grassroots organization at the moment, and our goal is to improve the lives of animals in the greater Columbus area. So we're very pleased to be part of AAM for an occurrence. And yeah, it's been a great journey. I think we're about 8 months old at this point, and for as young as we are, I'm very pleased with how much we've been able to do and how well received we've been by the local animal rights community here. We've toured up in Cleveland for one weekend for their Veg Fest, and we got a nice warm welcome there. So very excited for the momentum that we actually have as a little grassroots organization that absolutely wouldn't exist without AAM. So I'll officially now thank AAM for helping CAA get a good start. But yeah, we're very excited locally as well, as CAA, for this occurrence.
Well, we can take a break real quick before we go into some additional stuff, like the upcoming stuff. Michelle, were there any questions in the chat by
Yeah.
chance?
Let me see. I have a couple of questions.
Oh,
So
sure.
if there aren't any, but that we can you can maybe elaborate a little bit more, but not so many questions right now, but we've been sharing the links that you guys mentioned to Columbus Animal Advocates and to the link tree for the Ohio Occurrence. And of course, we're going to get into more specifics about like how to register. So folks out there are wondering about how they can just right now jump in and register. But I want to spotlight, what you guys are saying is this is also so educational for anybody who wants to organize, and the importance of collaborations. We can't stress enough how important collaborations are. So maybe Matt and Amanda, like if you're approaching a potential collaborator cold, like out of the blue, like what do you have any, tips for that? Or do you have any, stories about that? And then once you have a relationship, it would seem that would be pretty turnkey for the next year and the next year and the next year, and how much it is, you know, really a win-win. And I think, Amanda, you could also maybe speak to the importance of team. You alluded to how wonderful your team is and how important a team is, and being cohesive within that team and communication. So anything you want to comment on with what I just said, Matt, and then Amanda?
Sure. Yeah, I can speak to that, especially from a Columbus Animal Advocates organizer perspective. I think what we've found a lot of success with in networking and finding connection as an organization is um, trying out like two or three different connection methods. So our shining best thing that we've kind of come up with is a quarterly happy hour. So we try and host just a generally social, networking, jovial, happy kind of event. And we host it at a local bookstore, $2 Radio Headquarters. Shout out $2 Radio Headquarters, great vegan bookstore and publisher and cafe and restaurant. But they've graciously hosted two of our happy hours. And alcohol isn't a requirement. They have plenty of non-alcoholic drinks too. Just gonna say that. But it's been great because it allows people that maybe they don't consider themselves an activist yet, or they're very curious about this world, or simply people that are just seeking connection. It allows for that kind of environment to really thrive without any pressure, without any ask. We're not there to like swindle someone into a timeshare or something. We're just there to connect. So just having kind of a soft, open-ended social event, I think, is a really great way to find connection and maybe find allies that maybe have skills that you didn't think about or didn't consider at first. And then the second part about that is we really want those events to be input driven. We want people to show up. We want to make them feel trusted and welcome, to the point where people can express their mind and express what they're concerned about. Just coming forward to a meeting and saying, hey, here's what our organization's about, and here's what our campaigns are, and that's it, is fine, but it doesn't open up the opportunity for more. So some of our current campaigns are actually driven by people that have come to our organization and said, hey, I've noticed this ill in our community. Would you guys be able to help me address this? And of course we say yes. So that's been really good. And then, just collaborating with businesses and or other maybe more seasoned, larger for-profit or non-profit organizations, I think is it the best foot forward. The best initial foot is, again, just a social connection. Ohio Animal Advocates is actually another organization that we've started working with recently, and that connection was what was founded just kind of in a happenstance interaction, and now it's blossoming into a more productive collaborative relationship. So always seek just a good personal connection first, and then follow up with the business later. I guess that's my message here, and we've found a lot of early success with that strategy.
Fantastic. And the way that I'll kind of answer it is actually going to be quite different than Matt's as well. So working with a lot of people, like early in when we had more activists, it was kind of doing very much the same thing. We would meet up and have socials and discussions and things like that. When I started organizing the bigger things like Ohio Occurrence, or even, if I do like a local PBR or a circus, I'll reach out to like Compassion Works International, because, Carrie she has amazing posters for circuses and things like that. And we'll actually looking forward to working with her again this year, as we have every other year. So having that relationship with her where I can be like, hey, we're doing this. Can your organization donate some signs? They also sell these things, which are, very helpful too. She started having some really great, like laminated, or they're not laminate. It's kind of like on, they're waterproof. I can't remember what material they're made out of, but actually I had a friend from Toledo who gifted me a rodeo one to put in my sandwich board sign, which was really thoughtful. But again, when I'm doing these things, we're trying to let new activists know these other organizations, like if they don't want to start a grassroots organization like SWORN or CAA, or Ohio Occurrence at that, or doing something like that, they can work with another organization. So over time, I've kind of built these networks with people like Horse Racing Wrongs. Nicole was in my chat, like I have a chat with her, and, they sent us more posters this year, which is just phenomenal. Same thing with AV. I'm an organizer for AV, as is another one of actually two of our other planners. So of course we're gonna partner with the AV. I've been doing AV since 2017. No, 2018. And so, I have my network of people, within that organization. We continue to collaborate, with Ohio Occurrence. Last year we had all of those. We have this one. And then even this year we have CAA is who we're collaborating with as a local organization to help raise awareness of what they're wanting to focus on. And that is one of the goals, even though this is the first year that that's strongly happening. Like we've helped, like, Cleveland Animal Save, we had done a vigil and collaborated with them in Cleveland. But like from ground up, from AAM, literally, like CAA has blossomed, and now we're able to even take and run with what they've already been working on as well and elevate it even more, which is just phenomenal. And, the growth over time too, from our first year to our third year, has been really amazing. Just in the breadth of organizations that we've been able to network with, getting our name out there. And, the first year, just like Matt mentioned, he didn't know about the occurrence until a week before. And, now we have people, last year was international. We actually had someone from Italy join us. This year, I don't think we have anyone from international, but we have people coming from all over the United States. We're going to at least have probably about 40 activists coming to visit, to do some fun stuff next week. Not fun, but you know what I mean, like some important things. It's not necessarily fun. We try to make it not as stressful, of course, but it's not fun. It's a lot of work. Like, it's full days of things. Like, you're tired. It's going to be a long 4 days, but it's going to be impactful for the animals for sure. Hopefully I answered that without digressing too much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good information. And there is a question in the chat that might be getting a little bit ahead, but maybe not. Hold on. Nerds like us, are there key goals you want to accomplish with every event? Or do you have different goals for each event? I was going to answer that too. Like, what do you hope to achieve? Is there specifics or strategies, or just certainly furthering our movement? So maybe Amanda, you could answer if you'd like, and then Matt can comment.
Yeah. So with Ohio Occurrence, the goal set out with Ohio Occurrence was just to get new activists going and showing them all the different ways that they can get active for the animals. And we just try to focus on what's going on in the current city that we're in. What do they have? What kind of campaigns are the locals? Just like the first year, Cleveland was working on the petition, petitioning the mayor. Oh, actually, we did do a mayor thing last year too. The city bought, spent a lot of money, taxpayer money, for something for a chicken slaughter house, which doesn't benefit the city at all. But anyway, I digress. But working with, elevating their petition, bringing people in to hit the streets and kind of help with their impact. That's the goal. Same thing like with, in Columbus, CAA is a grassroots that's recently started, and they have these wonderful ideas of things that they want to like change and make impact in their city. So we Ohio Occurrence want to bring hefty amounts of activists to kind of do a push. Things that we've been doing a lot of things leading up to Ohio Occurrence with plant-based treaty, amongst other things, asking for things. And so with us coming to town next week, we're going to be bringing a lot more bodies that has, we know that one person can make an impact, right? Solo activism, but we're more powerful in numbers. So we're bringing the numbers with us to help meet those goals and try to, without giving away, to make those businesses turn a new leaf, so to say. Matt, would you like to add?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate description of what's going on here. The Ohio Occurrence does differ from some of the other major events in different cities, in that, I've observed that like the New York one is very focused on fur and has like one large sharp spear going after a select few industries. And you know what? That makes a lot of sense for New York. Here in Ohio, this is a different territory. This is a major agricultural state of the country. The culture here is very much intertwined with animal exploitation. So we have a lot more targets, a lot more kind of difficult targets that are well funded and well supported. So we have to adjust. We have to be reflective of what the turf really looks like out here. And, frankly, we are not nearly as far along in some of those campaigns as some of those more mature campaigns are. So we can't necessarily bring about that late stage change that we all want to see eventually. It's kind of early stuff. So as our little organization here is only a few people, but then when we have a rare opportunity to have the masses of people from out of town come and help us, it's just an opportunity to turn up the heat and really build momentum so that after the occurrence, the locals can kind of hitch onto that and keep it going. So I think that's probably the most Columbus focused thing I'm excited about, is just getting the numbers of people out. Just visually, if you're a pedestrian walking by, certainly one person is impactful, a few people is impactful, but like 40 people, that really says something, and that really can. And there's a lot more different kind of creative things you can do with a lot of people. More hands means more signage, more equipment, more voices, and you can really exude that kind of energy. And again, I think it's for me, and as someone who's gone through it a couple times, predominantly a network building opportunity. As I'm sure a lot of people listening in right now can relate to, the activism space can feel really lonely and dark at times. So being able to be surrounded by people who, you don't have to explain what veganism or animal rights are about. You can actually start talking on chapter 3 or 4. You can actually get into the weeds about it and really nerd out about it with other people. So selfishly, that's been my greatest benefit. The number of people I consider my close friend has blossomed every year because of this. And we've kind of touched on this a bit. In our committee, I always call this the sample platter. The Ohio Occurrence really is a big sample platter of all different types of actions that can be taken, from mild to intense, from amiable to combative, from small to large, from food related to policy related. It's a very wide range of options and perspectives and types of actions that you can participate in. So in my observation, I've felt like others have also taken away, a bit of creativity, a bit of inspiration for what they can do elsewhere. And we don't know what's going to resonate with certain people. Some folks might be really driven to get more plant-based options into restaurants, and some people might just not care about the food space very much at all, and they might be just totally driven to go after horse racing or something like that. So if we don't give an activist, a budding activist that's coming, kind of that option, or give them that vision as to what they could be doing, then that I kind of consider that a missed opportunity. So one of our goals is just to make as much of a wide range of options available as possible, in hopes that inspires more actions elsewhere outside of Ohio.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that, what Matt said about continuing after, that's one of the goals of Ohio Occurrence as well, is not just to make the impact while we're there, but to get the locals excited about especially the local stuff that they have that they're working on, but also to let them know, here are all of these other targets. Something calls to you, let's help you get to be an organizer. Let's organize. So me being just a little story I want to share. So when it was solo activism for a while, it's a hard toll to try to be a solo organizer. And one of the things that I kept wanting, like, I don't want to be the organizer of Ohio. Someone once told me that I was like the vegan of Ohio. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I don't need accolades. Like, if someone's going to get credit for my work, I want it to be me, but I don't need accolades. I want to mentor people to help me organize. And the last year has been really phenomenal, especially with like Sworn and stuff, because that's exactly what it's gone and done, especially when I've had a lot of life stuff happen. If I didn't have these people that help me organize things, no one would have been speaking up for the animals necessarily. So if we haven't built this network up locally, then, if I was too tired to do something, it just probably wouldn't have happened. But instead, we have other local activists that are organizing who are like, okay, I'll pick up that slack. Okay, I'll organize that. And that's what we want too. Like, we don't want just Matt and the other two organizers of CAA to be the organizers. We want people to get involved locally. That way we can support each other, but we are not getting burnt out, because burnout is a true factual thing. I mean, I will be burnt out after Ohio Occurrence. It takes me a little recovery time after each one of these tours that we organize, because it takes a lot. And if you have multiple people organizing in a city or an area, it takes less stress off of one person and brings impact to multiple different types of actions. So, you could have someone be like, okay, well, I'll take the burden of horse racing. So I'll do the horse racing stuff. Oh, I'll be an organizer for AV, and we'll do some cubes of truth. And then people can make it to the events that they can, and someone's still speaking up for the animals. So if there's nothing but like an overarching goal, that's the goal, is just to get people active and get people organizing, because the more actions that we have out there for the animals, the louder our voices can be for the animals, and the more impact we can make and be that ripple in our communities.
Wow, Amanda, that was really great. So inspiring. So many tips in there. You make so many really amazing points, and reminding us that we're all in it together, and we would love people to step up and organize, and you're not alone. Just the whole message of activists never have to think that they're alone. They are never alone. And this is such a great tracing the timeline of where Matt started to where he is now, and you sort of tracing your timeline as an organizer to where you are now, is, and anybody can do that. And that's what AAM is here for. And that's what, why you guys are doing. And I love the idea that it's like a smorgasbord. You said, like a sampler platter of different types of events, so people can come and really decide what's for them, what resonates, and walk away from the event feeling, ready to take some action. So we're open for questions. Any other kinds of questions about what we're talking about and about the Ohio Occurrence? And Amanda and Matt are going to talk a little bit more specifics, but maybe I could bring us back a little bit to where you were talking about how, new activists had firsts, and say a little bit more about how you guys support new activists to really take the fear, help them take the fear and the stress away. Like, you welcome new activists, and how do you support them? Matt, do you
I want to answer first. Can I answer first?
Yes.
So I'll tell you a quick story about the very first moment that I actually came on site for the first occurrence in Cleveland. So long story short, I wasn't able to be there for the first couple events of the whole thing. And my first event that I was going to be walking up to and participating in was a zoo protest. And, because I hadn't been there the first day, and I was kind of coming in late, it was kind of hard to get out of the car. I was like, oh man, I got to get out of this car. I got to go protest a bit. This is going to be intense. I'm not going to necessarily enjoy this, but I got to do it. And finally, I was like, okay, you got to just go. You already drove up here. Let's go. So I got out of the car, and the moment that made me realize that this was going to be different than what I thought it was just seeing people smiling and enjoying their time. I mean, I distinctly remember one particular activist who will remain unnamed. I saw him passing out leaflets to cars that were stopping at the intersection right at the zoo entrance, with a giant grin on his face, and he was just happy to be there. He was just enjoying himself because he was doing something that he liked, and he was doing it with his comrades. He was doing it with his people, I have no doubt that he would have maybe had more adrenaline or more stress if he was out there alone. So what makes it worth it from that perspective is just having other people there to support you emotionally. I mean, everyone understands if you were to oppose something alone, that's very that's very intimidating. That's very brave, but it gets easier if you have support literally and figuratively right there with you.
Beautiful. I'm sure if we have other activists with us, they probably want to raise their hand and say, I can relate. Who remembers their first time you ever went to an action? And did you know how many people did you know? Did you not know? Did you have someone waiting for you, looking out for you? Even if it wasn't official, that's what we do with our mentoring. But I remember it's nerve-wracking on top of nerve-wracking. And it's made so much easier, not necessarily peaceful, but easier if you know someone's going to take you under their wing, is going to guide you, support you, give you feedback, encouraging you. And you always have so many questions. When I was a new activist, I had so many questions, and you just don't know what you don't know. And to have someone share with you and tell you it makes all the difference in the world.
It does.
Amanda,
And
do you want to? Yeah.
yeah, so we actually already know because we had a pre-game call for those who could make it, who were coming to the event. We already know that we have a handful of brand new activists, brand new to activism and AAM. So, I mean, we're super excited to welcome them. We do pre-briefs to kind of give people heads up on what's coming up, expectations. We do the workshops to kind of help, people get the information that they need. Like we'll have Sabrina is going to be talking about plant-based treaty. She's one of their Ohio reps. So she's going to be talking about that and some of the amazing things we've done, and what we're planning on doing at Ohio Occurrence. We have lots of seasoned activists. I mean, at the first Ohio Occurrence, that was in 2022. I've been an activist since 2017 and a mentor since 21. So, I've had a lot under my belt just in going there. Of course, organizing a multi-day event, I'm sure I was kind of probably a little stressed. I probably didn't always have a smile on my face. But one of the things that I love too is one of our roles. So we actually have a role document that we have people sign up for different roles when they attend. Um, One of our roles is actually like a greeter. So even if we have people, because we've had that happen on tours before where we'll be out organizing and people want to know what we're doing, and then they'll just like stop their day and join us. And so we have people who are greeters for the activists who are coming to the organized item. We greet and welcome people who want to join us on the spot. Those are different things where, like, as a new activist, because I haven't gone to a multi-day event as a new activist, I kind of was local when I became that. I can see though the benefit of having those greeters and then having the pre-briefs and everything. I want to make sure that people have what they need to go forth and do what they want to do for the animals. And that's, again, what Ohio Occurrence is and why we have such a smorgasbord of things, because I think it's important to know the different ways that we can speak up for animals. I think I digressed a little bit, but I think I got my point.
No, that was perfect. And this sort of dovetails on that. Another question is, do you have any advice or encouragement for newbies coming? What would you say to a newbie? Matt or Amanda?
Get ready. Get ready for some life-changing stuff. You've already heard Matt's story about his first occurrence. One of our other organizers last year was his first occurrence, and he just ran with it. He's one of our organizers this year, and I've just seen. I think I'm gonna get emotional. When I see people blossom, that's my goal. That is the impact that I want to make on other people. Is I want to make people feel so welcomed and give them all the information that they need to be able to go and blossom and be their best self for the animals, however is called to them to do that. And so for new activists coming, I welcome you. We welcome you. We hope for all future events that we have new organized or new activists coming as well. You're going to be in a safe space. We make sure of that. We have house rules set for safety and inclusion for all. So, it's something that you can check out our link tree. You do have to register to attend. If you check out our link tree, it's Ohio Occurrence. They'll share the link as well, but it's Ohio. It's everything on social media with us is Ohio Occurrence. Even the email is ohioccurrence@gmail.com. Like I've tried to make it as easy as possible, but we want to be a welcoming place for people, answer questions. When Matt came to his first occurrence, he was a new activist, and now he's what we would consider a seasoned activist and a mentor. And it's seeing that blossom is just that's my vision in fruition. It's just that right there. And it's not just Matt. There's other people. I just won't say their names on here in case they didn't want me to say their names. But, again, our other organizers, first speak outs, same thing. One of our other organizers, he did his first speak out at the zoo protest last year. And, he said that his first occurrence in Cincinnati was monumental and life-changing in his activism. And of course, he was one of my mentees, which of course makes me feel even better. But, and now he's planning planning this one. And it's phenomenal with the building and everything. Everyone starts new. And I'm one of the seasoned ones that is part of Ohio Occurrence. One of our other organizers has been vegan and an activist for a long time, too. But the majority are very new. And just seeing that blossoming in my own little neck of the woods here in Ohio is just phenomenal. And that's my goal, because I was so tired of doing things alone. And it's just so nice because I travel. Post-divorce, I don't travel quite as much as I used to, but it's one of those things where it's like I like to network with people and do activism in other cities as well. Like I've done tours in Atlanta and New York, or no, not in New York, but Chicago, but I've also traveled to New York for like Cube of Truth things, and Toronto for a bunch of AV stuff, and like just all over. So that's helped me help others as well in working with other activists in other areas and what they're doing and helping me bring those things back. So I'm just kind of paying it forward by showing people these are things you can do to take back to where you're going. So it's just like one big mixed pot of I'm sharing what I'm learning, you go share what you're learning, and we're that ripple again,
Yeah. I think my advice. Oh, what happened here? Oh, there we go. I think my advice for new activists is fairly on the practical side of things. You can't pour water out of an empty cup. On the plane, they say you gotta, help. You gotta put your own oxygen mask on first before you help others. And that's so true in the activism space, especially for an occurrence. It requires a lot of physical energy, mental energy. So my advice is get your sleep, stay hydrated, keep your emotions in front of mind, make sure that you're not getting tapped out. That's probably my best piece of advice. And I will refute one thing that we said earlier, in that it's there's a lot of not fun parts. I would say that the occurrence is mostly fun. It's 90% fun to me. The uncomfortable stuff is made fun because you're there doing it with others. So yeah, and like in the moment, the inevitable moment where you maybe feel shy or anxious or scared, that's the moment. That's the moment where you bring in the voice of the victim and you say, what would the animals want you to do? Would they want you to have a speak out or not? Would they want you to attend this event or not? Would they want you to, maybe share a packed house with some people that's out of your normal routine or not? So, take care of yourself. And then when the moment of mental trial arrives, keep the victims in mind.
I absolutely love that. I can't believe you haven't been doing this forever, Matt, because you have so much valuable insight, really, and everything that you guys just shared is what makes both of you amazing leaders and team members.
Thank you
So
so much.
we are open to,
And
additional
speaking
questions, but yeah.
speaking of teams, I just want to give I cannot ever tell them how thankful I am with them at all. Like I just can't tell them enough how much I appreciate my team. We have 5 people on this year's planning committee, and let's see. Technically, Matt was on last year's too, and he did his first. He did organize some stuff, even though he would tell you he wasn't like really an organizer. But he did some stuff. He did some awesome stuff. But like the organizer who helped me with the Cincinnati part, I'm not going to say her name, but just in case she didn't want her name brought up. But um, she continued on this year. She may continue on again. It seems like, when we have someone who's new and then they jump all in because they're like, oh yeah, you're bringing it to my city. Let me jump on this. And then the same thing, the other organizer, he had such an impactful weekend that he was like, okay. And he gave his wife a break and said, okay, I'll take over, you know, and yeah, it's phenomenal. I
Yeah.
I kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah.
No, but the love is coming from you there, the love
Yeah.
of your team and shouting out to them, and how much more when we, lift
Work
lift
together.
as you climb, right? Lift as you climb, and that's what we are. But ultimately, it's FTA. It's all for the animals. So maybe
Absolutely.
can we go from here to any more of the specifics that you can share? I know people can get the information by going to the link tree in terms of registration, but is there anything, because we're not far out from it, right? We're only like 10
A
days,
week.
whatever it is. Lodging, is there anything you want to say about lodging, accommodations, transportation, food, housekeeping stuff that, will help people make the decision even?
Mhm. So, yeah, we are about a week out. We start next Wednesday. Wednesday night is when the people who are at the house will have our first dinner. Um, we do have the workshops and talks and meals for breakfast and dinner at least at the house, at the activist house. Um, Unfortunately, housing is full. We may have a couple of spots that have opened up. I kind of saw something in our planning committee thing pop up, but I can't guarantee that. But I mean, there is a waiting list if anyone's not able to make it. So you can still register. And I think I've changed the question to either not needing housing or waiting list. So we do have a waiting list, and it could be, but I mean, there are Airbnbs locally. People who are within driving distance can come for a day. We'll make it worthwhile when you drive, you know. When it comes to, we have a packing list that we've sent out to people who are coming. You want to make sure you have comfortable shoes and comfortable clothes. We have some specifics on our packing list for some things we have up our sleeves. But of course, if you're not registered to attend, you won't know those things until they happen and you see them on social media. Like I said before, we have a house rules list where we help with inclusion and safety with people, as well as, keeping the house clean. Actually, our Airbnb last year charged us an extra $200 for going over the cap of people. And we actually got that refunded because we left the house cleaner than we found it, which was, amazing. But, we try to do our part to include everyone. Unfortunately, our fundraising didn't raise enough to get 2 houses. It would always be great if we could do that, but we do try to make this as affordable as we can for people. Especially we really want people to come and not have to worry about cost. So like we provide meals, typically 3 meals and hopefully a snack a day. Well, a dinner on Wednesday night. Like when people come in, we'll have a dinner the night before. But for the official actions, we have the meals. Actually, we have two sponsors this year. We have a lunch that's been donated, or is that it will be donated from Ching Ter, which is they do pop-ups as well, but it's called It's All Natural Temple Store. So they actually have a store in their basement that have amazing finds with different vegan, because it's vegan, different vegan options. Like I just bought at their last one, like marshmallow fluff, vegan marshmallow fluff. I was like, what is this? With graham crackers. I cannot wait to have s'mores with that. Um, not that I need them, but they're donating a bento box lunch to us, which is just, it helps so much with cost and timing because, if we have to make food, that takes time and energy from our actions. So if we're able to go pick up the lunches and then just disperse them to the activists, like that takes a lot off of our plate too. We also have Patty Cake Bakery, who is donating about 4 dozen cookies to us. So we'll be picking those up prior to the event, and have those available. We haven't decided exactly if we're going to do it for like a lunchtime snack or a snack during one of the days, or just have them available at the house for people to pick up. We didn't talk about that. And we do also have a local business that's offering 10% off of any visits during the days of the occurrence. They were not able to donate a whole meal, but they figured they could at least give us a percentage off for the activists that are coming to town and want to try their amazing food. But they go by the name Seitan's Realm, and they make their own homemade seitan. They have really great things, and it's a very fun themed restaurant as well. It's one of my top favorite Columbus restaurants. It's kind of tied with my other favorite, but yeah,
Oh
so
my
we
God,
have
that is
those.
such a great name. That's
Seitan's
almost as
Realm.
good as the Slutty Vegan, which they're all
Yeah.
over the place. Like Satan's Realm. That's
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so you can find the registration and all of our public events on our link tree. I think we have the cube up already, but the time and place may change. I can't remember if that got updated yet or not, because that was kind of a new change. But all the other ones that will be public, like our a horse racing one with horse racing wrongs, that will be a public event. Plant-based treaty will probably be a public event. AV, of course, as I had mentioned. Those will be public events. So because those organizations typically do all of their events in a public realm, like a public setting, we think it's only fair that people who work with those organizations, if they happen to be local and didn't hear of the occurrence, they can come to those as well. Other than that, all of our other events are we want the element of surprise. And we're kind of keeping some secrets up our sleeves unless you've registered. So register and you can find out the fun things that we're doing. But if you
Mhm.
can't make it, check social media, because we'll definitely be posting on AAM and Ohio Occurrence. In addition to that, we are still needing some fundraising. So we do have fundraisers available on Facebook and Instagram, but there's also a Cash App option. I have a Venmo, like however you want to donate, all of the money will go towards food, housing, and materials that we're needing. Cause like we're still printing posters and there's cost to that. And right now that hasn't been covered in the fundraising. Food is
Amanda,
something that
is that in the link tree as well? A link
it
to
is, yeah.
how to donate?
Yeah, the
Oh,
event,
okay.
the fundraiser,
Thank you, Jen.
let me see, what is it? Registration, the event, the fundraiser, all of the public events will be there. I think I've already put up the two sponsors to link to their websites as well. We have the security culture videos up. I think I have AAM's link up if they want to sign up for a mentor as well. Like I try to put as much information regarding Ohio Occurrence in the link tree, and it changes every year. The name stays the same so that it's consistent each year, but we just update the link trees, with each year's updates. So yeah, everything, it's an evolving page. But for sure, the registration, the fundraiser, and the event to share are all on the all on the link tree right now.
All right, that's really excellent. I'm glad you mentioned the security culture workshop. I was going to mention that, and we also have a workshop on our YouTube channel about handling police.
Yes, we have that on there as well. And also the workshop that I did with AAM on infighting and conflict resolution. We added that to our house rules as an additional resource as well.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. That's so important. And Trey was mentioning here, donations go toward helping more activists get to the event by covering housing, groceries, and other essentials and materials, which is pretty much what you were mentioning. If people are wondering, you know, where the donations go. So that's really good. So is there any more questions? Well, we're going to do just a final call for questions. And if none come in, then I'll throw it back to you guys, maybe unless if there's anything you forgot or anything you want to mention or anything you want to revisit for a moment, and then I'll wrap up with a few more AAM announcements. So I don't see
Yeah, I'll
any.
just say if you're on the fence about coming, register. At the very least, you can register. If you can only make it for part of it and not all of it, register. It's still worth your time. If you know that you can't participate, or I guess even if you know that you can participate, please give to the funds if you can. We like to say like every $5 feeds an activist. So every little incremental bit that we can get from now until then will be greatly appreciated and immediately used. One note on the housing, like my first year, I wasn't able to stay in the main house just because I registered late, but by registering, I was able to participate in the conversation online, and 4 of us actually found our own little Airbnb. So we were like, okay, even though and that's what was able to get me there. So I registered not thinking I'd be able to go because I couldn't get the housing, and then by connecting with a few people, we just got a quick Airbnb that was affordable for all of us, and then I could go. So definitely register if you're on the fence. And then if you don't go and you still want to be involved, just keep an eye on social media. There might be opportunities for people outside of Columbus to actually get involved and help our efforts remotely through cyberspace. So a little bit of a clue that might help some people from afar.
Yes, I love how you're saying feed the starving activists.
And he took it right out of my mouth.
That's what you're going to say. Well, I'm just remembering how good after activism, even like a hummus sandwich tastes like amazing after you've been doing activism. Even PB&J tastes amazing.
It does. But yeah, one of the things I just wanted to kind of take off with like what Matt was saying, same thing. Like when he told me that little story about how like that's how he ended up with housing, like that's amazing. That was something I wouldn't have thought about my first year as an organizer, is something like that. It just, you have to register to attend. So even if you register and you can't make it, I mean, if you're asking for housing and you're on a waiting list or something, yeah, you can't make it, let us know. But if you don't necessarily need housing, in order to know what's going on, or even like, with Matt finding housing that first year, we do have a Signal chat that's up right now that, we have little discussions on, all of the information coming up, questions that people have. People are networking already within that chat. Just, really, really active in there, and, sharing the fundraiser. And when we do social media posts, because those help with the fundraiser and getting the word out and things like that. And it's the same thing where Matt had mentioned, if you can't make it and you see social media, you'll still be able to help us. We did it last year and the year before, I believe. We have little tricks up our sleeve for sure. So keep an eye out.
I love it. Ash Wickety says this was great and I'm really excited for next week. Thank you to everyone who took so much time and effort to put on this event. And Kizaza says y'all should definitely come and donate, please. So you got some support there. All right. So thank you guys so much. We're looking forward to finding out how it all goes. We know it's going to be amazing. Thumbs up, all the good stuff. So I'm going to just wrap up our live stream now by saying that we have a few more events coming up. First upcoming live streams. July 30th, we have using AI to create AR content. August 13th, we have using the law to resist industries of exploitation. August 22nd, we have calls to action, ballot initiatives, and slaughter-free September. And then we have the Texas Convergence, which I don't have the dates in front of me, so maybe we can get that in the chat. That is upcoming in the fall, October. It's in October, I believe, though, after slaughter-free September. So keep up with AAM, you guys, so that you can be the first to hear about, what's being announced next. And subscribe, please, to our YouTube channel here and check out our archives and binge watch all of our workshops and live streams. Please consider becoming a patron by finding AAM on Patreon. Your donations allow AAM to continue to provide free educational workshops, resources for activists, which ultimately saves more animals. So that wraps up another AAM program. Thank you, Matt and Amanda, for organizing. Thanks, Trey, behind the scenes, handling tech and social media. Thank you all for being here and the tireless work you're doing for the animals, the unsung heroes, sort of, all for the animals. Again, if you're interested in becoming a mentor or mentee, reach out to us through our website, animalactivism.com. Until next time, stay strong, everyone. Get active and live vegan.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day. See you next week.
Thanks all. Woo!